This is my CRT filter Redux video. You may have previously seen me do a video where I showed you how to install the CRT filter via Clovershell Client HMOD. But I'm going to show you how to do it via HMOD now. And I'm going to link you to the HMOD in this video post. Anyways, once you go into modules, you're going to want to install, and this is how this is set up. You have to install the RetroArch first. Then after you install RetroArch, you're going to lay this RetroArch CRT Hack on top of it. You always have to do RetroArch first, and then CRT Hack second. Then when you uninstall, you could uninstall both together, and you could just reinstall RetroArch by itself again, or you could reinstall RetroArch and the CRT Hack on top of it yet again. And there are 3 files that were changed to make this happen. And there are several contributions and people who have really worked out on this project and made it the great thing it is. And they're all credited in the little ini file if you scroll to the right of the HMOD. But the RetroArch configuration, the scanline GLSL, the scanline GLSLP, and I backed up all 3 of these files with the Clovershell Client HMOD. You always want to back these files up. But in this case, the way the HMOD is set up, if you do it in the order I mentioned, where you install RetroArch first and then the CRT Hack, or uninstall them both and then reinstall the RetroArch, you're going to replace the files and not have a conflict whatsoever. So I made it easier, and so did the other people involved. Anyways, I'm going to show you how this works. I already have it set up on the Mini. Now, if you go up to display, you can have the option to go to CRT filter or 4.3. If you have CRT filter on, it'll work for virtually almost every single HMOD that you install. 4.3 will just revert to normal non-CRT filter. So you have the way to turn it on and off. And I'll do it while it's off right now for one game. We'll try Shadow Dancer Shinobi Genesis. So it's clearly not on right now. I'm going to exit. I'm going to go up to display. I'm going to turn the CRT filter on. Go back down, same game. And previously, due to the nature of how the CRT filter worked, Genesis games were broken due to a shader pass conflict. I took care of this in this HMOD, and so did a few of the other people with the settings. It works great now. And I'll show you what settings were changed to make this happen. And this is one of my favorite Genesis games, by the way. It is part of the Shinobi series, Revenge of Shinobi, Shadow Dancer, Shinobi 3. Great series. And you get a wolf to help you along in your journeys. But I'd say this is probably my favorite Sega Genesis game. I've played just the hell out of this over the years. Now we're going to try a Nintendo game with the filter. And we'll try Blaster Master, one of my favorite Metroidvania games on the system. And the CRT filter is intact. Everything's looking good. Okay, now we're going to move on to Super Nintendo, and some people were having issues with Super Nintendo games being choppy or slow due to the nature of how the scaling worked. I took care of that with some tweaks too, and some testing. Now first off, you might remember that if you go into RetroArch settings, quick menu, options, there's a Super Fx Overclock option. I generally set this to 100 megahertz when I play games such as Star Fox and Pilot Wings. It works great for the FX proprietary chip games. But you do not have to have it on. I'm going to disable it right now. Like I said, it works great for games like Star Fox, but a normal game like Castlevania 4, you really do not need it. CRT filter's on. And this is one of the games that ran a little bit choppy when the CRT filter was first set up due to a scaling 3 times issue. Now it's running nice and smooth. No issues. I'm going to show you 3 of the settings that were changed to make this possible. I'm going into my RetroArch settings, going into shaders, and I have shader 0 set to scanline GLSL. It's pretty much following all the parameters that are in there. I set this to linear, then I set scale to don't care. By setting scale to don't care, that's what's making the games no longer choppy or slow. And this linear filter is giving it a little bit of a smoother nature. And you can also go into your settings, video, and you can enable bilinear filtering as well. And one other tweak you can do that speeds games up is just leave vertical sync off. So again, with this HMOD installed, you can just go up to the settings in the main menu, and you can turn CRT filter on, CRT filter off. On, off. And you want to make sure you install the RetroArch HMOD and then the CRT filter on top of it. And then if you want to get rid of them, uninstall both together because you will have to reinstall RetroArch afterwards due to the changes to the configuration files. So I hope this helps, and I'll link you to the HMOD so you can play around with it. It's pretty freaking awesome. And I thank everybody that contributed to this project and made this awesome.